Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday morning, so it's time for a weekly message from Jesus. Each week we come to you and we bring you the words of our Lord. So he's waiting. So let's hear what he has to say for us this week. Good morning, everybody. This week I would like to speak to you about indulgences. Now, if you know your history, you will know that the Catholic Church created an idea of indulgences back in the Dark Ages in order to raise money. This was not a good thing. Martin Luther became so enraged with the concept that you had to pay money for your loved one to proceed into heaven that he broke from the church. So you see, there's always a place where you break from something. In Martin Luther's case, it was the church trying to collect money over indulgences. You see, things can get so bad that you reach your breaking point. That's what happened with Martin. Of course, I sent him back to form the church, but I realized what was going on. I thought that finally the Catholic Church had just gone one step too far. Now, they had written things about me that weren't true through the years, things that they thought I said that I didn't. But when they start to collect money to delude people in their church membership, then they've gone a step too far. So what will it take for each of you to realize that things around you have gone a step too far? Today, you're seeing many people speak against me. The academics, so-called academics, in your institutes of higher learning have figured out that I don't exist. Well, that's going to be on them. They tell the young, the impressionable, that God doesn't exist, that if you follow a religion, it's a cult. Well, let me assure you that those so-called intellectuals are going to find out when they return home that they're not as smart as they think they are. You see, they are pushing people to the breaking point. Their teachings are drawing the young away from me. They're drawing the young away from teachings that will help evolution. You see, it is in the young. The young are the ones that hold the future. If the young do not believe in me, do not believe in the concept of doing good, do not believe in the concept of love, of coexistence, do not believe in all of the words that I speak, then you see the young are being misled. There are many instances where parents try to raise their children properly. They teach them that I exist. They tell them that they should do unto others as they would have them do unto themselves. They teach them all the things of which I speak, and then they go away and they get among their peers and they get among these so-called academics that teach them differently. You see, the young are still impressionable. They look up to those that teach them. They think that those that teach them know more than they do. But if those children were taught by their families to love me, then those children know more than those so-called academics. You see, they're not nearly as smart as they think they are. They have knowledge in areas, but that knowledge has misled them. Knowledge can lead people away from believing in me. Sadly, that's what happens. They can't see the forest for the trees. You see, those trees are a miracle. Individuals need to have faith. You see, I know Barry gets emails where they said, "You have to prove to me that God exists." And he writes back and says, "You have to have that faith. Because if you don't believe, he's not going to prove it to you. If you believe, you can open your eyes and you can see all the miracles around you, and you'll understand that I truly am everywhere." Look at the skies. Look at the stars in the heavens. You hear me say, look at the stars in the heavens. Because heaven is real. It's all around you. It's when you pass, you'll understand just what heaven truly is. There's no way you can understand it today. There's no way you'll ever understand it until you close your human eyes for the last time and your soul eyes open up and you see this miraculous place around you. How many times have you heard Barry tell the story of atheists as they die, and their final words are things like, "Oh, wow, beautiful." You see, they're seeing heaven for the first time. Sadly, they didn't have the faith to believe in it. That that's a sad thing for them. Because when they were judged, they were told what the mistakes they made. Many of them were good people, but they were misled by what they thought was true knowledge. They had information, they never had knowledge. Had they had knowledge, then they would have known. They would have known how little they truly understand of what takes place around them. Let me get back to the young for a while. They are so important. I spend a lot of my time speaking of the young. You see, everyone was young. All of you were impressionable. All of you thought you knew more than anybody else. But you only thought that. You see, the more you know, the more you will realize how much there is to know, and you will realize how much you will never know. That's the way I designed it. I want humans to learn. I want them to learn, and I also want them to have faith. You see, faith is knowing something is going to either exist or take place. Faith is a belief. Everyone is going to find out how much of what they thought were physical laws are not what they think. Faith is what you think. Faith is what you believe in. Faith is what will lead you to me if you open your hearts and your mind. You see, it's not hard. I have put so many miracles around you. All you have to do is open your eyes and believe. I always use the example of a newborn baby. The complexity of forming a human body from the union of two cells. If there's anybody out there that doesn't believe that's a miracle, then what they should do is go out and use their artificial intelligence or their minds or whatever to duplicate it. You're not going to be able to do it because you see, the creation of a human is a miracle that I carry out every day. You see a myriad of animals around you. Do you think that was an accident? No. I created everything that you see. The fact that you are watching on your social media as Barry speaks is a miracle that I allowed to be created. I guided the people, I showed them the knowledge they needed, and I allowed it to happen. Faith in God. If you walk into the office of a college professor and say, I have great faith in God and I'm going to take your course, you may be penalized for it. You see, there are weak minds in academia that fear that you will not look at them and put them on this incredible pedestal. Most of them, if they believe in me, are afraid to say it. Most of them fear that they will be ridiculed if they say they believe in God. I know there's many of you out there that share that same feeling because there are so many nasty people that criticize you if you believe in God. You see, those people are certainly not doing themselves a favor. They're creating a situation where they're going to have to explain why they are so nasty and why they tried to lead people away from me. I don't understand it, and I'm God. If you have an easy path that leads to me, why do you not take it? Why do you take a path that makes you so angry, so unhappy? Why do you take a path that makes other people unhappy and angry? Go to the path of least resistance. Follow the path that leads to me. My words are so simple, but people, it seems like they hate simplicity. They like to complicate things. Why would you choose to go to war with somebody rather than coexist with them? What is so much that forces you to go to war? Nothing. You might pretend those people hate you. There's many, many good people. If you tell the people the truth, if you let people make their own decision, then in all eventuality, you'll coexist with them. Why would anybody want to fear for their own lives when it is not necessary? Now, you may have a person living in a country across the border from you that hates you for no reason. He's a sick person. He's going to pay for it. Bring the truth to the people in those countries. Let them know that you want to coexist, that you want to trade with them, that you want to do all of the things that you would do with a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor. There is so much corruption in the human world today that even I would be hesitant to try to point it all out. I see it. Sometimes I can't believe it. I see these people profess that they believe in me, that they love me. And then they go out and they take payoffs. They do all of the things contrary to their words. Hypocrisy. Think of the hypocrisy in this world. People live lives of evil and then look down at people that do good. Hypocrisy is a terrible thing. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with those around you. If you are honest and speak the truth and do what is right, then you're going to be a much happier person that tells lies and has to try to remember the lies that they told so that they don't say something in the future that's contrary to that lie. So they're forced to lie again, and this everlasting chain of hypocrisy and lies takes place. It is so much easier just to tell the truth. Then you don't have to remember. You don't have to Specifically, make notes to yourself that I said this in the past, so I can't speak the truth in the future. It's quicksand. It pulls you under. It destroys all of the good that is in your soul. All babies are created equal. There's no evil in them. They can love, they can follow my words, and they can have incredibly happy lives. So think about indulgences. Think about how that evil that was created by the church created many Protestant religions. Hopefully, the evil that is all around you will help create good. You have to reach a breaking point in accepting evil. Do what you need to do to get rid of it. So I thank you. I'll be back again next week. I'll have a different message for you. Please tell your friends. The only way that you will be able to spread good is to bring other people to my words. So I bless all of you that are listening. I do this every week. Know that you have spent your time well this morning. Tell others about it. So goodbye, and we will speak again. Thank you, Father. Another wonderful message. Every week we've been doing this. Please tell your friends. All of his messages are available on my YouTube channel. It's in my name, Barry Strohm. Everything there is free. Go listen, hear the wonderful words that the spirits bring to you. I guarantee it will change your life if you open your mind and your heart. Goodbye. We'll speak again next week.